Megan and I are a little bit of an odd couple to begin with, to say the least. She looks at me and she'll say 6 years, and she starts shaking her head. She goes, we were in the same gym together for 6 years, and you never talked to me. Those are 6 good years for me. The first time I talked to her, I was doing deadlifts. We were at Lifetime, one of the gyms she's been thrown out of. She was doing her power cleans, and when she comes into the gym, it's like a tiny tornado of, well, if you watch her clean, she got the mouthpiece in.
Yep.
Spit's flying, sweat's flying, the mouthpiece is flying. She's yelling at herself, and I thought for a while she had Tourette's. But when you sit there, I mean, and it's boom, 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 and every one, it's her maximum effort. Everything that she does is maximum effort. And she does it again on the next one, and the next one, and the next one. I've never seen anybody be able to do that. So I went up to her and I told her, you know what, I really respect the effort that you put into this, and you bring everybody up in the gym and you make us all want to work hard. So I go home and we had a brief chat. Well, she talked, I just stood there. And I told my wife, I said, you know, that chick that grunts a lot, she really appears to be a nice lady. But she went home and told Shannon, she told me this afterwards, she said, you won't believe who talked to me at the gym today. He goes, who? She goes, that. And she wanted to use that, not one of, not a, that grumpy old asshole. So, fast forward about a year, and she comes in and says, I've got a calling to write a book. I've got a calling from God to write a book. And since I'm a great conversationist, I said, okay. And every day she'd come in, and when you're, she doesn't know how to write a book. She's never written a book before in her life. Who gets text from Megan?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. We're gonna come to those texts in a minute. But every day she's coming in and she's talking about the book, and I'm saying, okay. And she's about 2-3 weeks into this, and she's really looking for somebody to give her some feedback on the book. And I'm not gonna push myself and say, hey, you want me to do it? You know, she needs to ask, because I'm not gonna push myself on her. And she finally said, can you look at it? And I said, sure, I'll look at it. So I said, I don't know anything about it. What's the book about? Faith-based relationships, self-help, which are 3 things that probably are nowhere on my agenda. Nowhere on my agenda. So I get it. And first of all, bless her heart, she's a very talented woman. She's a very educated woman.
Yes.
She can't spell to say that. What is this word?
So bad.
So we got this routine that she would write. She would send it to me. I'm not correcting content. I'm just cleaning up a little bit, sending it back to her. And the whole time I read it, and the first time she sent it to me after 3 weeks, it's like 80 pages of a book. So she wrote that from not knowing how to write a book to write 80 pages.
Exactly.
But I'm reading the book and I said, okay, where are we going? Where are we going? I'm not telling her that, but I'm saying you need to close some of these thoughts and let's rearrange some things. And she comes in on Friday, and I remember it, and she says, this is going to be very difficult for me to write. I'm going to write about a period in my life that was extremely difficult for me. And I knew a little bit about it. And typically she'd write Friday, Saturday. I'd get it Saturday night. I'd fix it Sunday morning while she was at church so she could start again. Because we had to make sure that we weren't working off 2 different copies. We always wanted to work off the same one. So I get this on Saturday night, And I broke away from, we were probably watching House Hunters or something like that. Old people do it. So, and I go into the study and I read it. And I gotta close the study doors because I start crying. And for me to cry is like getting water out of a rock. I don't cry. And I didn't want my wife to see me. I mean, there are tears splashing on it because it was really one of the saddest, most powerful things that I had ever read. And I went back and I read it again, and I cried again. But then I said, let's think about this. You know, what's crying going to do? It's only going to get your face wet.
Yeah.
So I said, you know how this thing ends. You know there's a happy ending to the story, so you don't need to cry for her. But now we got to write her. And the next day, because I didn't tell her I cried. The next day was better than that day. And then she comes in on Monday and says, you know what? I need to rewrite the first half of the book. And she's, I don't know, 200 pages in at this point. And everything I got is like I've never written. I've read it probably 20 times, but I've never read this before. And that's where she found her, she had to go to her lowest point to find her highest point. Now, we get through this process and we're getting ready to submit this stuff, but you know, a couple things have to happen. Where's Mr. Lewis at? Okay. We send it to, she sends it to Dylan, and because he's pretty smart, you're a lawyer, right? Okay, so, relatively smart person. So, we get his changes back. If you look at the book and you see a comma in that book, there's a 90% chance he put that comma in. There's a 10% chance I put it in. There's a 0% chance. He knows the difference between a colon and a semicolon. And let's just say there's a lot of changes. And I'm starting to make changes. I can't accept them all because she had done some changes too. And I start making changes. We get about halfway through, and I'm making changes to the wrong copy. So at that point, I think he's the only one that knows he made these changes. Let's drive to his house and kill him. And then we can just move on and not make any changes, but I wouldn't do well in prison, so we decided we're not going to do that. So we got through that. And then she wants to send it out to somebody that she respects more than anybody in the world, and that's Ann Stone. Ann, where are you at? Okay? Anna's her mom. Anna's the person, after Megan lost her mom as a young adult, she put her hand up in the air and said, she's mine. I'm taking her into my family, and her sisters and brothers are here as well. So she sent it to Ann, and there's a reason for it. It's respect, as well as, has anybody heard Ann talk tonight? Ann is a New Englander. Specifically, Massachusetts. Now, I lived in New England. We lived in New England for a couple years. New Englanders are usually very reserved, and they don't. Well, hold on. You get to Massachusetts. Massachusetts is the drunk uncle of New England. If you want to know where you stand with somebody, just ask somebody from Massachusetts. Okay? So that's why she sent it to Ann, and she is on needles and pins because Anna's going to tell her exactly what she thinks about this book. And it was on Sunday. I get a screenshot that Ann had sent her, and there's 2 words on it. And there were some more, but she sent me 2 words, and those 2 words said "Fabulous Ann," and that's all she needed to know that she had done what she intended to do. So now we got the next step in the process, and the next step in the process is we need a book cover. Okay. And that's Mr. Mike. Okay? Now, these two are kind of they're like brother and sister. And Mike said that he'd have it done on Monday morning. So she hits the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning, so her expectation is she's going to have it at 6 o'clock in the morning. So from 6 to 8, she's
That did happen. I was checking my phone.
The names she was calling you, you better do this, I know he's going to be late, da 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 da. and we were squatting, and I sort of tried to keep an eye on her so she doesn't do anything too stupid. Which usually doesn't happen, but I see this look on her face. And I can't read what this look is. And I go down and say, "You okay?" And she just shows me the phone. And it is the most beautiful book cover I'd ever seen. And
Brilliant man.
it was the point that she knew that she was an author. She had a book at that point in time.
With a meaningful cover. Very meaningful cover.
So it's been a great process to help her just a little bit to get her to where she needed to be, and there was a lot of people that helped to get her there. The other thing that she talks about, because she's a clinical therapist, whatever you do, but whatever that is, she talks about your shadow, and your shadow is what other people see about you that you don't see. See, I do pay attention. I don't get a chance to talk, so I'm going to pay attention. But her shadow is what I see in her shadow, is I see a lot of passion. I see a lot of passion in her workout. Do not get in the middle of her workout. That is like oxygen to her. She has to have it every day. She's very passionate about that, and you see that in the book as well too. She's passionate about her faith, and she will share her faith with anybody who wants to talk about it, and she's very passionate there. There's one thing she's passionate about more than anything else. Where's she at? She's passionate about her marriage. If you want to see a person glow, ask her about Shannon. She glows when she talks about Shannon.
Honey bun bun. Honey bun bun. Honey bun bun. Now we know.
The other thing that she's passionate about is helping people. I see it every day. I was just telling Shannon about it. Probably the best scenario that I see is there's about an 18, 19-year-old, I believe he's an autistic young man in the gym who works out with a trainer. And she has gone out of her way to make friends with this young man. First it was just getting him to say hi.
My girl.
Then she's chalking his hands up. And was it 3 days ago, he's actually talking shit to her.
He did talk
He did, something about you yelling like a maniac. So, and the first time she made contact with this young man, I'd see this, and I told her, so that's why you're my friend. All this other stuff doesn't matter. That's why you're my friend. So this book, if you think about it, you take your lowest points in your life, and you walk out in the middle of the street and say, I'm going to tell you about them. And I'm going to share them with you. I'm going to share them with you to try and make your life better. And that's what she's done. And I think she's done a fabulous job, and I'm extremely proud.
It's Megan.
How do I follow that up?